What's up, Ross Spartan Tribe? This is Ross Spartan 125, back for yet another great reaction. This is 12 most hated cars that are actually great. This is a requested video live on stream. If you'd like me to react to any other video, just leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I will leave links in the description down below for this video and its channel. So check out my links while you're there as well, yeah? Let's jump in.
What makes me really sad deep down inside is when great cars are overlooked or sometimes hated on. Perhaps they were conceived in the wrong era or had a competitor that took the limelight. Or, I don't know, maybe they burst into flames whenever you got in a car accident. You know, small stuff.
Oh.
So today I will talk you through
Stuff.
12 of the most hated cars in history and then try and convince you that they're actually pretty cool.
D-List. Number 12, Mazda Miata.
Oh.
Some people out there think that the Miata is too small, too slow, and I can't even believe that I'm saying this because they use it in a derogatory way, that the Miata is a hairdresser's car. Well, I, for one, love hairdressers. Fun fact about me, before I moved to California, I was considering becoming a hairdresser myself. Of course, I would have been called a barber, but that's neither here nor there. Lots of people like Miatas. Construction workers, professional fighters, scuba diving welders, lots and lots.
Tell you what, I don't know if you know this, I probably told some people during my Forza Horizon 4 games. I love the idea, I've never driven one, but a Mazda MX-5. I drove it in a game, Gran Turismo. This is like years and years ago. And oh hey, welcome back. I know you've been here for a while, but welcome back into the chat. Yeah, so it's actually, I wouldn't say my dream car or one of my dream cars, but I'd like to drive it. I'd like to see what it's like. You know what I mean? Just looks like a cool car. And it seems kind of cool. Oh, in Forza as well. And that's after it's been souped up and stuff, you know? Yeah. But I like to look at this one too. This is obviously an American one. Don't know if we have that one in the UK or not.
Barber, but that's neither here nor there.
Look
Lots
at
of
the
people like
lights.
Miatas. Construction workers, professional fighters, scuba diving welders, lots and lots of very macho people get to and from their very macho positions behind the wheel of a Mazda MX-5,
Okay.
aka
A Miata.
it is small. It has fantastically compact Japanese proportions, the result being a short wheelbase, perfectly balanced with great weight distribution, and therefore
Great handling.
it is low on power, relatively speaking, I guess, compared to like a Dodge Demon. Yeah, the original Miata only had 115 horsepower, but the upshot of that was that when those horsey babies were championed by that brilliant, compact, light, well-balanced chassis, it meant you could push the car to your limits and its limits, squeezing every last mile per hour out of that beautiful little 1.6 liter and have a bunch of fun doing it without being totally terrified. Although driving Miatas is pretty scary, especially when Eddie's behind the wheel. Hi, Eddie. The Miata has been described as one of the great authentic driving experiences by pretty much, I don't know, everyone who knows a thing or two about driving. It's such a good car. We made an entire donut show about it. It's called Money Pit. Check it out. It's every Wednesday. It's hosted by one of my best friends, Zach Job. He's a genius, and the car is awesome.
Number 11, Chevy Corvair.
For everyone who doesn't know, the Chevy Corvair was a rear-engined compact car made by Chevrolet between 1960 and 1969. Nice. It was one of the first, if not the first, production cars offered with a turbo, but unfortunately, it was made famous by the following phrase:
Unsafe at any speed.
That is how Ralph Nader described the 1965 Chevrolet Corvair in his book about automotive safety. He's got some pretty progressive views on the environment, which I respect, but he's kind of a downer. So yeah, the Corvair was unsafe. It had an engine which hung out past the rear axle, putting way too much weight past the wheels and making it prone to spins. And who cares if the car didn't have any form of roll protection to protect the occupants? And come on, gosh, get over it. It had a single piece steering column that tended to impale drivers during a front end impact.
Whoa, wait,
Nobody's
what?
perfect. But turns out a lot of that stuff wasn't even true. It took 12 years for the Corvair to have its name cleared by an independent report, but the damage had already been done. But here's the thing. The Corvair is an awesome car. It's really cool looking because of the whole bad reputation thing. It's pretty cheap and they're super easy to work on. From 1965 onward, like I mentioned before, you could get a Corvair with a turbo that came from the factory with 180 horsepower. The Corvair was the first and still to date only mass-produced American car to be designed with a rear engine, which on its own makes it worthy of this list. But that engine was also a freaking air-cooled flat six. It's basically a Porsche 930. By the end of its production run in 1969, you could buy a Corvair as not only a coupe, not only a convertible, but a sedan, a station wagon, even a freaking pickup truck. And you don't have to take my word for it. I'm just an idiot on the internet. Take my older brother Jay Leno's word for it. He said that the Chevy Corvair is one of the 10 best cars that GM has ever made. You know how many cars GM has ever made? More than 10. More than 10.
Number 10, Ford
And the large male approaches the
ever made. You know how many cars GM has ever made? More than 10. More than 10.
Number 10, Ford Pinto.
From one American compact
heard of this
with
one.
a rear end of nightmares to another, the Ford Pinto was, let's be honest, kind of a mess. The thing would actually explode.
Whoa!
If it was involved in a rear end collision. A dude named Lee Iacocca, you know, that guy who John Bernthal played in Ford vs Ferrari, the guy who came up with the idea for the Mustang. Well, he headed up Project Pinto and rushed designers to develop and test the car in 25 months rather than the standard 43. He also wanted it to weigh no more than 2,000 pounds and cost no more than $2,000. Because of this, concessions were made, most infamously the steel fuel tank, which was mounted low between the axle and the rear bumper. Unfortunately, the results were, how do I put this? What's the word? Disastrous. Several tragic, very well publicized crashes, some of which resulted in life-changing injuries and some even in death, basically ruined the Pinto's reputation forever. Ford was even prosecuted for homicide by the families of some of the victims. That's how serious this was. However, if I may counterpoint, reports of the Pinto's safety or lack thereof are greatly exaggerated. And though it took some 7 years before an independent report would highlight this, sadly, the damage was already done. It's like how I told everyone that Nolan likes drinking milk so much, even though I think he likes drinking milk a normal amount. But because we put that out there, now people think that Nolan loves drinking milk. It's the power of influence. Secondly, and more importantly, if you ask me, because I love little cars, the Pinto was Ford's first attempt at a compact. And because of that, we have the Pinto to thank for some of the coolest cars that Ford has ever made. I'm talking about Escorts. I'm talking about Fiestas. I'm talking about Focuses. You like Gymkhana and Ken Block? Thank a Pinto. Just like the Corvair that we just talked about, the Pinto was available in an incredible amount of body styles. My favorite is that Pinto wagon with the rally pack. Check out that freaking window. This thing doesn't even belong on this earth. It belongs in space. Also, Pinto means spotted horse. And you know I'm down for anything that has to do with horses.
Number 9, Pontiac Aztec.
This is one of the
horrible.
most unloved cars in the history of cars, but it's honestly actually pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah, it
I get
looks
it. Yeah,
terrible.
it is ugly. The interior is insane. It was super expensive when it launched. It cost $25,000. And yes, there was no option for a manual transmission, which is a huge bummer. However, to me, the Aztec was the forerunner to every crossover vehicle you see on the roads today. And love them or hate them, it's a granddaddy. And granddaddies are cool. This is my granddaddy. His name is Linton Pumphrey. He's a good guy. So not only did the Aztek help to form the blueprint for crossover vehicles, which is almost every car on the road these days, it also came in all-wheel drive, and it had a freaking tent on it. You could actually leave work on Friday and just drive right to the woods and sleep in your car. Hell, there's some pretty scary stuff going on right now, and I'm kind of wishing that my car came with a tent. Nowadays, with nerd style and normcore at the top of fashion and music and everything, I personally foresee the Aztek reaching a cult-like status, and I think that the makers of Forza might agree with me because they have included the Aztek in Forza 6. I know it's not the most recent one, but that's the one with an Aztek in it. I want to see who gets the fastest ring time in an Aztek. Post your screen grabs. The winner gets a shirt. And if you needed any more convincing, freaking Heisenberg rolled in an Aztek. Okay, bitch.
Number 8, PT Cruiser.
Now, this thing's problem was always going to be
familiar.
how it was marketed and how it looked and how poorly it was made.
Probably,
and the fact that it was front-wheel drive. Okay, so it was styled to look like the cars from the 30s, and honestly, I don't think that they did a bad job. It looks like something that Tracy would have driven. But while the snooty car journalists and better-than-thou cool kids laugh at this oddly angular yet soft and squishy car, I'd like to offer a not-so-popular opinion. The PT Cruiser is one of, if not the most whimsical, imaginative cars ever produced in the modern age, and that started at the factory. The factory spec sheet for the PT Cruiser reads like the wish list for an 11-year-old's birthday party. Turbos, manual transmission, flame decals. This kid is a cool kid. I hope my kid ends up being like this kid. When is his party? In 2005, almost half of PT Cruisers were ordered with the optional turbocharged engine, and people didn't stop there. The PT has a very passionate fan base, and these guys and gals have done so much to keep this car going and keep it going well. They haven't made PT Cruisers for a decade, but you still see them everywhere. They made so many of them, and they sold so well that I don't see these things going anywhere anytime soon. Plus, this one has over 800 horsepower.
Number 7, a Tesla Cybertruck.
Very few automobiles in the history of all automobiles have been as divisive as the Cybertruck. And they don't even sell these things yet. People in one camp think that it looks like a car straight out of Blade Runner. And in the other camp, some people think it looks like a baby drew it. Personally, I think it's both. The style.
It looks like someone just took a ruler and just went to town on the paper. You know what I mean? Someone who's never seen curves or anything like that, you know what I mean? I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Looks horrible. You've never seen it before? Elon Musk built it, or his company did, and they did a show and tell thing to show how tough it was and all this, and got someone to throw a baseball. Was it a baseball or a stone or something at the armored glass, and it broke as soon as. Oh, not like ugly car. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody's seen the Tesla. Everybody's seen this ugly thing. Ugh. I just don't like it, personally. I think it looks horrible. I like a car to have curves. Yeah? Yeah. Kind of like my women. Okay, I'm just kidding. You like it? Ugh. No. No, maybe if it was on the moon, you know? But not on Earth, no.
Straight out of Blade Runner. And in the other camp, some people think it looks like a baby drew it. Personally, I think it's both.
Really?
The styling combined with the lack of a combustion engine, because duh, it's a Tesla, really triggered truck people. Who gets more offended than truck guys? But here's why it's actually great. It's a pickup truck that's faster than a McLaren F1. It's cheaper than a Dodge Charger, and you can buy it with a matching freaking ATV. It brakes literally all of the rules of what a pickup truck should
Yeah,
be.
and it breaks as well.
Exactly what we need right now. We need to tear it down and rebuild from scratch. So like it or not,
If
it's going to change
that's
the
what
future
cars
of
are going to
trucks
look like in the
and
future,
cars. And that's a
I don't want to
huge
have a car
deal.
from the
This
future.
next car is probably the opposite of a Cybertruck. I'm talking.
Number 6, Hummer H2.
Yes, I will.
There
once
is
this
no
over.
better word to describe the Hummer H1 than heroic. It liberated countries, kept troops safe, and it looked handsome and rugged.
I like a
doing it.
Humvee.
By comparison, the
Yeah.
H2 did none of these things. This
Whoa.
vehicle was a huge, ugly, chrome-covered eyesore released right after 9/11, a time when gas
Looks
prices
beautiful.
skyrocketed, and when having a gas-guzzling truck wasn't quite as cool as it used to be.
Look at
And
the
you've
size
got
of
to
the thing.
remember that while SUVs are a common sight on roads today, back in 2001, the SUV craze was only a few years old. So the H2 looked very
Ooh, look at that
out of
one.
place next to all the 90s Acuras and
Beautiful.
Saturn sedans. But looking back,
Beautiful
dare
car.
I say that this thing was a victim of the time. The Hummer H2 is actually very cool, and compared to the SUVs of today, it wasn't even that big. It's comfy and luxurious on the inside, and it looks damn cool from the
Really?
outside. It came with a 6.2 liter V8 making 393 horsepower and had a towing capacity of 8,200 pounds, which is
Yeah.
more than a Lamborghini
It's
Urus.
beautiful.
I'm not sure what that proves, but it's something.
If you've heard me talk about yellow cars, you know I hate yellow cars. I think they look horrible. To see the Humvee in yellow is a beautiful car. I don't know why. It's probably one of the very few cars I can stand to look at in yellow. It's absolutely wonderful looking in yellow. I don't know why or how, but it is. To me personally. Beautiful car. In yellow. Don't like it in black though. I don't know. I don't know why. Because I like it, but then when I saw the yellow one, I almost lost my mind. It was like, oh, yellow! It looks great!
93 horsepower and had a towing capacity of 8,200 pounds, which is more than a Lamborghini Urus. Now, I'm not sure what that proves, but it's something. It's something.
It's the
Now, when we were
zombie
putting
land,
together this
yeah.
episode, we were
That's right.
like, oh, yeah, Hummer H2, we forgot about those. I bet they're cheap. We should all get them. But turns out the Hummer H2 has managed to hold its value surprisingly well through a national crisis, 2 wars, a couple recessions. But that tells me that these things might even go up in value in the future. So if you want, I don't know, to take a gamble on a future collector car,
A limo
check out
H2.
Hummer H2s.
Yeah, stretch Hummers,
5,
yeah.
Smart 42.
The reasons that this car is hated are basically the exact
Oh,
opposite
no.
reasons as the Hummer H2. Americans
It's a
love
smart
big
car now.
cars. All right, our roads, our towns,
Yeah.
our drive-throughs, all of them are built for large cars. And
There's a pizza place in my hometown here that used, I don't know if it still uses them, I don't know if it's still even open after this whole corona thing, but it used to use a smart car as a delivery car. Or somebody who had a smart car used to deliver for them. What? I don't like the smart car. I think it's horrible. The size of it. It's like a toy car. No. I better not talk to What? You like it? Your sister has a 4-door car? I've got a 4-door car. What are you talking about? What, a 4-door one? They come in 4 doors? Didn't know that. Nah, that looks horrible, man. Out of all the 2-door cars and 2-seat cars that you could buy, that is the one I would never even contemplate buying. Ugh. This looks horrible. Looks wrong. What is a Mini Cooper? It looks like a full-size Hot Wheel. I like the Mini. The Mini isn't too bad. It looks better than that Hot crap. No. Mini is a classic. The Mini is an icon of an age long gone. You know what I mean? 60s. But that? No. Unsubscribe. That's just the way I feel. It's just the way I feel personally. I just don't like it. Okay? Doesn't mean that you have to not like it. If you like it, you like it. It's technology. Yeah, ugly technology. I better stop talking about it. People are getting offended. You love it? Really? Ah. Must be just me then.
The Hummer H2. Americans love big cars. All right.
Yes.
Our roads, our towns, our drive-throughs, all of them are built for large cars. And the Smart for
I suppose
Two
a car is a
was
car, yeah.
always gonna be a tough sell to us giant American drivers. Also,
Yeah.
it only has 2 seats.
Okay,
It's not
whoa,
that sporty.
Whoa. I'm not American. I don't have to be American to like big cars. Nothing wrong with that. Do you see the inside of it though? Okay, you know what? I think I'm starting to get a little bit sold on it. Okay, you know what? See that thing with the black bit on the back? Yeah, I like that. You like supercars? I like supercars. Everybody likes supercars. Well, maybe not everybody.
Our towns, our drive-throughs, all of them are built for large cars. And the Smart for Two was always gonna be a tough sell
black thing
to
looks nice
us
on it.
giant American drivers. Also,
You look the other way. And that's only supercars matter. Wow, really? Oh. I've got a Ford B-Max. It's like a cross between a hatchback and a minivan. And it is a hatchback. Don't get me wrong, it is a hatchback. The only thing that makes it like a minivan is in the back. It's got sliding doors in the back of it, which is really cool because it just makes it easier to get into the back seat.
gonna be a tough sell to us giant American drivers. Also, it only has 2 seats. It's not that sporty, and it really doesn't have any cargo space at all. And even though it was tiny and focused on being economical, it's not even that good on gas. For a while there, it was kind of embarrassing to be seen in one.
But
For all of its faults, the Smart for Two challenged conventions.
nice.
It might not have made sense for the vast majority of people,
Just
but
the
it was
angle.
cheap and it could fit into impossible parking spaces, making it a must-have for people who need tiny parking spots. Plus, may I add, the number one reason why I have added this car to this list. You can put a Hayabusa engine in it.
number 4, Chevy SSR.
What? Did you hear the engine? Did you hear it? Oh!
Car to this list. You can put a Hayabusa engine in it.
Number 4, Chevy SSR.
Yes, the Chevy
Sheesh.
SSR is very weird looking. Yes, I don't
Aw.
think it quite understands what it is. It was a convertible, but also a truck. It didn't make any sense, but that's why I love it. A freaking truck drop top. That's literally
That's an
the
engine
most
swap? Yeah.
awesome combination ever. Now, imagine how much easier that would make the daily chore of rustling your sheep. You can just yell at them when you sat inside your convertible truck. Get in the truck, you damn sheep. Early models suffered from low power, but in 2005,
It looks
Chevy
weird.
totally redeemed themselves and dropped in a 400 horsepower LS2 with a 6-speed manual. Did you even know that that was even possible? That's right, 400 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque, 6-speed with the fun lever on it. Why are we looking at this as like some weird old man collector car when really it's Chevy's response to the Ford Lightning, which is the other coolest pickup truck that's ever made. But nobody hates those, so it's not on this list. In my mind, sometimes in my dreams late at night, I go to an alternate reality where Brian drives an SSR in
My
the Fast and
dog?
the Furious, and all of a sudden everybody likes him. And since we didn't get Holdens in America, the SSR is still one of the only car truck things that you can put a bunch of wood in the back of, and do a screaming burnout. Oh, I also want to apologize for last week's video. Apparently, I called the Holden Maloo a truck a number of times. Truck. It is not a truck. It is a ute, which are very different things. It is also not a car with a truck bed. It is a muscle car with a tray in the back. It won't happen again.
Number 3,
What's the truck?
Dodge Neon.
The Neon made by Dodge. The Neon was also sold by Chrysler and Plymouth. I'm just going to call it the Dodge. Was the quintessential 90s econobox. In other words, it was boring. And Dodge
Yeah.
should not be boring. They are the coolest company I've ever worked with. They paid me to get a tattoo of their name on my chest. My
What?
girlfriend won't even do that, and she's the coolest person I ever met. Hardcore Dodge fans didn't want a cheap, efficient front-wheel drive car. However, the Neon did have a saving grace. I'm talking about a little thing called racing. The Neon is one of the cars that dominated autocross in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
It was light, which made it fast and had really, really surprisingly good
This is
handling.
ordinary.
Held its own and successfully defended America in a compact car
looks
market,
like something
which
my
was
teacher
full
would
of
have driven.
imports like the Civic and the Sentra. And that helped endear it to millions of people across the country. Also, it came in a bunch of really cool different versions, like the ACR, the RT, and the top of the line
SRT4.
I swear to God, once a week, I open up Facebook Marketplace and look for an SRT4. It went 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, which is very fast for a compact of the time.
That's
And it had a top
pretty
speed
nice.
of 153 miles per hour. It was faster than a Chevelle 454
Oh, look at
SS.
that one.
It was one of the first cars that I could say, hey, Dad, you're wrong, man. You're freaking wrong, dude. There is a replacement for displacement. It's called a freaking turbo. Nowadays, almost every car is turbocharged. Hell, there's turbocharged minivans and turbocharged everything, but
My
it didn't
car
used
is
to be that way.
turbocharged.
And this was a really, really brave decision by Dodge. Most SRT4s have been beat to absolute shit, though, so be very careful while you're looking.
Number 2, Honda Ridgeline.
If there's one
I have to remember to take a picture of my car and put it on Instagram. So there's a part of it that's coming off, but don't worry about that. It's a pretty nice car though. It's blue. Even turbocharged toasters. Yeah, I'll have to put my car on Instagram. Yeah. You can have a parrot flag thing on the aerial, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
have been beat to absolute shit, though, so be very careful while you're looking.
Number 2, Honda Ridgeline.
If there's one thing that
don't
can
have
bring
that, I don't
Ford,
think.
Chevy, and Dodge people together, it's that they hate the Honda Ridgeline. Now, with a
Really?
name like Ridgeline, you'd expect this Honda truck to be able to scale peaks, traverse tricky mountain passages, and brush off knocks, bumps, and scratches like they were nothing. That's not really the case, but I still like this car. Now, hardcore truck guys hate the fact that this truck has a unibody construction as opposed to the body on chassis that is more common in big trucks. It also has a transverse mounted engine, and worst of all, front wheel drive. Ridgeline's all wheel drive would eventually kick in if you went off road and needed the extra traction, but for many, this was just like too much to take, man. To them,
was
this
like
was a
auto
modified
all-wheel
minivan,
drive?
and they didn't want anything to do with it. All right, but I got a news flash for you, pal. That was sort of the whole point. That's what made the Ridgeline so great. Rather than being a truck with a second row of seats squashed into an elongated cab, this really did feel like a minivan or a small SUV with a bed. It's comfortable. It's spacious. It's got great gas mileage. And just like every other Honda,
Wow.
it's insanely reliable. Even if you go off-roading, which most people who own trucks and SUVs don't do, you still spend 90% of your time on the road. What, just because I want some open air cargo space means that I have to pretend like I'm an adventurer? No, this is a
Ouch.
great
That's
city
harsh.
truck. My friend Nick Thune drives one. Hello, Nick Thune. Check out his comedy albums or something.
Number 1, Toyota Prius.
Finally, my lovelies, we have reached number one, the number one most hated car that I actually think is awesome, the Toyota Prius. Now, Prius, translated from Latin, means first,
We have
which
those
is
here.
exactly what
We
it
do.
was in everything except for any drag race
God,
or
car.
beauty contest that it ever entered. The Toyota Prius was the car which brought affordable, efficient, ecologically
I have to admit, see the chrome one? It actually looks good in chrome. You know what I mean? But it is well hated. It's hated by everybody. Best car ever? Really? A Prius? Oh. I've never driven one. Never wanted to drive one. I drive one. Drive one? No, I've never really looked into them. Reliable, pretty, and it's a hybrid. Yeah. Want one in pink? Pink? Nah, chrome. Get it in chrome. You blind people on the road. That'd be awesome. People shine their lights on you and stuff. They'll be like, oh my god, what the fuck? It's a UFO! That'd be cool.
everything except for any drag race or beauty contest that it ever entered. The Toyota Prius was the car which brought affordable, efficient, ecologically responsible hybrid power to the masses. In fact, due to their popularity as Ubers, I feel confident in saying that every person in the US has probably ridden in one of these cars. Can you say that about the Pontiac Aztec? No, you can't. You're probably wondering, James, I thought this
Even
was a
looks
car
good in
channel.
yellow.
Why are you defending the Prius? Well, hey, maybe the Prius needs to be defended. I'm trying to convince you
Apparently, a lot
that
of people
it's a
hate it.
good car, an important car, a car that we should be happy exists. The Prius gets a really, really bad rap because I
Yeah.
think that people don't acknowledge what it's for. Jeremy Clarkson hates the Prius. It had a really bad South Park episode about it, which didn't help either. Prius was also viewed as a threat to automotive freedom. They're slow, they're boring, they're uninspired. And having driven one, I can definitely confirm this, but that's okay. And here's why. That's not what they're for. Again, Priuses are cheap, they're
Agreed.
reliable, they're economical, and they will last forever. If
Those look
any of
better.
my girlfriend's friends ask me what car they should buy, I say a Prius. It really is responsible for opening the world's eyes to hybrid technology, which is everywhere now, thanks to the Prius. Freaking F1 cars are hybrid now. And if you need any more convincing, think about this. Every car manufacturer has a fleet CO2 emissions target, which they have to stay under in order to sell cars around the world. And if Toyota didn't have the Prius bringing their emissions average way, way down, they might not have been able to give us the new Supra. So next time you look at a new Supra, thank a Prius. Thank you so much for watching this video and all the other videos on Donut. I know that I went out on some limbs in this video. I think there's a lot of
it's an ugly car.
negativity in
Sorry.
the car world. I want every kid to look at their Prius or their Ford Probe and think, hey, my car is cool. I think we should respect each other and respect what each other drives. I know we're all trapped in our houses right now. I'm in my garage right now making this video, but we're not slowing down at all. We're going to try and keep you guys entertained. We have 7 shows a week now. Guys, that is 1 show a day. That is Donut every day. We've been working on this for a long time to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the stuff that's rightfully yours. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I guess there's a bell down there. We'll let you
Okay. That's the end of the video. It was interesting. I'm not really a car guy myself, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, it was interesting, so... Bit long, though, for me personally. Because like I said, I'm not a car guy. But I hope you liked it. Until next time, I am out of here.